The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. That same day, Jesus went out of the house and sat beside the sea, and great crowds gathered about him, so that he got into the boat and sat there. And the whole crowd stood on the beach, and he told them many things in parables, saying, A sower went out to sow, and as he sowed, some seeds fell along the path, and the birds came and devoured them. Other seeds fell on rocky ground, where they had not much soil, and immediately they sprang up, since they had no depth of soil. But when the sun rose, they were scorched, and since they had no root, they withered away. Other seeds fell upon the thorns, and the thorns grew up and choked them. Other seeds fell on good soil and brought forth grain, some 100-fold, some 60, and some 30. He who has ears, let him hear. Then the disciples came and said to him, Why do you speak to them in parables? And he answered them, To you it has been given to know the secrets of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it has not been given. For to him who has will more be given, and he will have abundance. But from him who has not, even what he has will be taken away. This is why I speak to them in parables, because seeing they do not see, and hearing they do not hear, nor do they understand. With them indeed is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah, which says, You shall indeed hear, but never understand, and you shall indeed see, but never perceive. For this people's heart has grown dull, and their ears are heavy of hearing, and their eyes they have closed, lest they should perceive with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their hearts, and turn to me to heal them. But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. Truly, I say to you, many prophets and righteous men longed to see what you see and did not see it, and to hear what you hear and did not hear it. Hear then the parable of the sower. When anyone hears the word of the kingdom and does not understand it, the evil one comes and snatches away what is sown in his heart. This is what was sown along the path. As for what was sown on the rocky ground, this is he who hears the word and immediately receives it with joy, yet he has no root in himself, but endures for a while. And when tribulation or persecution arises on account of the word, immediately he falls away. As for what was sown among thorns, this is he who hears the word, but the cares of the world and the delight of riches choke the word, and it proves unfruitful. As for what was sown on good soil, this is he who hears the word and understands it. He indeed bears fruit and yields, in one case 100-fold, in another 60, and in another 30. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord.
Please be seated. The first reading introduces us to God who provides every resource for creation and for sustenance of creation. The responsorial psalm tells us how God provides for the earth in such a way that nothing runs dry, because they are renewed at every point in time. The second reading gives us a mystical explanation of the meaning of human life using the reality of the world as the world continuously evolves. Every single day we are discovering, every single day the world is opening new part of itself to us, and every single time we get to attain new adaptive features, things that will make us able to adapt to the world itself. And then St. Paul tries to use this system to define our own bodies, that we too are being exposed to realities. As we grow daily in life, we attain every single stage of adaptation. Those things that enable us to understand this world the more, in order for us to preserve ourselves until that moment in which we reach the fullness of maturity. And St. Paul traces that fullness of maturity onto the union of the Spirit, the very first Spirit from which our spirits come. And so, if we are to derive a message from St. Paul, it means that this constant struggle of our bodies must always and constantly be aligned with the dictates of the Spirit. If we are to simplify this, the Word of God is that dictate, the teaching. That's why Scripture says, His words are spirit and they are life. And the Gospel passage gives us a very long explanation of what we are doing here on earth. And there are some articles in the Gospel passage that might seem as if God is partial, He gives opportunity to some and not to others. Never the case. Never the case. From the very idea of having the rich soil, the seeds that fall on the rich soil, having variety of production, some 100-fold, some we could as well call 90, some 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, even 20, even 10. Alright? So God is not saying all of us are the same, so there is no cheating, there is no discrepancy. Remember the parable of the talents. The parable of the talent is someone was given 5 talents and made 5 more, and the other given 2 talents made 2 more, and so on and so forth. So there is no cheating. We are not expected to yield the same fruit, but at least that we yield fruit at all is the aim of every life. And so we can see from that parable, Jesus is talking about the one that was given just 1 talent and went to bury it. If he had duplicated his talent to be 2, when the one with 5 brings his will be more. When the one with 1 brings his will be 1. Yes. But Jesus would never have said, I should take the one that is from the one that has 1 and give the one that has 5. Jesus wouldn't have said that. So there is no cheating here. Because in this same gospel, we hear Jesus Christ saying that those who have much, even abundance, will be poured upon theirs. It is not an injustice kind of affair here. Because the reason why the 1 coin was taken from the one who had 1 coin was because he was not even productive at all. So you could hear the master saying, since you know that I am an exacting man, I reap where I don't sow, I gather where I have not scattered and all that, why didn't you just deposit the money in the bank so I may return it to yield interest? So they were particular about production, not about whether you had 1 talent or you had 5 talents. And so when Jesus Christ said to whom much has already been gathered, much will be added, and then to whom that does not have even the one he has will be taken away, Jesus was not talking about the numeric advantage of having something. Jesus was talking about the essential attitude of producing. Is your life a producing life? Any human being that is not found to be involved in doing good is dead, because our vocation in life is to act according to our essence. We have not seen rain becoming wind, nor have we seen wind becoming rivers, nor have we seen the sun becoming streams. They all act according to their essence. And so we are not expecting human beings becoming animals and human beings becoming thoughtless beings. Human beings are meant to be productive. It's the reason why God created us with the integrity that we have, that we take custody of all that is created. And this essential behavior of the human person is supposed to resemble God in all respect. So that's the reason why it is strange for society today to think about being godless, or to be involved in policies of godlessness, ideologies of godlessness, and I'm even bold to say religion of godlessness. Because one can be religious, and the object of your religiosity is the wrong one. But here today, to simplify the message of today, the Word of God is life itself, and the Word of God cannot be different from God Himself. And this Word of God is sown in us. But which kind of soil have we made ourselves? The various soils Jesus Christ named here can be personified into the behaviors of some people. Some people can just be the soil that is on the path. Some people could just be the soil that is rocky. Some people could be the soil that has lots of thorns in it. And some people could just be that rich soil that yields fruit. But at the same time, conditions and situations can make one person to be all of these soils, isn't it? For instance, there are many saints. I want to use St. Augustine as an example. St. Augustine was at one point in time in his life the soil on the path. The word of God would have hit St. Augustine so many times, but it didn't enter. It was picked up by the birds of demonic powers, and so it didn't sink into St. Augustine. If St. Augustine had received the word when he first heard it, St. Monica probably wouldn't have gone through the spiritual rigors and stress for her son's conversion. St. Augustine probably was also a rock. Indeed, at some point in time he would have received some words of God, because when he started manifesting ministry on behalf of God, we could see that majority of the things that he expressed were things he already knew before. So which meant that he would have received God's words joyfully. But during the period of need, during the period of heightened pleasure, during the period of threat, he would have thrown God's word away. And so we could see the word being choked up. And he would have also been the tongues. He would have received the word, but the cares and the worries of this life, and especially riches, would have choked the word. The pursuit of pleasure and so on and so forth would have choked the word away. But this same St. Augustine became the rich soil when he eventually chose that pathway. One could say from assessment, if we are to compare, as St. Augustine would have been in the category of those who yielded their fruits 100-fold. If you know St. Augustine, you cannot possibly rate him any lower. The point is this: every one of us, we are designed to be the rich soil, but we are not all designed to have 100% yield altogether, even though we strive for it. But this is where the mercy of God comes. That we are able to yield at all, the mercy of God prorates our yield to 100-fold. That is why those who yield 30, those who yield 60, those who yield 100% will also attain the same crown of eternal glory, which is heaven. So there is no partiality. Talking about giving to the one who already has more, it is an ordinary mathematical reality. We all who attended primary schools here remember that if we have been taught 1 plus 1, and then we have been taught the arithmetic progression of 1 plus 1 to infinity, we will know that if we do not continue in that progression of mathematical relationship, we are going to forget a lot of formulas, isn't it? It is clear. You don't continue studying mathematics, even the ones you knew before, you will forget. But when you keep the studies of these things, every single study reminds you of what you know before and upgrades what you already have. And so you continuously have more. So it is just simple mathematical calculations. Those who have more tend to always have even more. Because they invest in what they have in learning more. But those who don't have, even the little they have will be taken away from them. It's not the case that God is coming to take it away from you. But by the very fact of nature itself, when you are deficient in what makes life, the life removes from that person naturally. And so we come back to the word. You are the soils. And there are 3 approaches by which we are to receive God's word in such a way that it stays, in such a way that it yields fruit. The first approach is your mind. And that's why it is very much essential to start forming the minds of our children. We need to be very careful about how our children's minds are formed now. Because I look at little children and I already see secularistic tendencies. We are not teaching them. I look at our children, I already see massive ignorance. Any one of us will make huge mistakes if we think that we'll send our children to school and that is all. But I think we've had lots of decades of experience, enough to prove that sending a child to school cannot be sufficient. Because what your children learn in school are not directly applied to physical life experience. And so your children simply just have things that are related to the book. Once they are out of the book space, they come into this rich ground, this rich soil, they become lost because they don't find the items of the book on this rich soil. Parents need to start teaching their children life. Any parent that's involved in a particular thing that is worth doing should be able to teach the child in practical terms what you are doing. Any kind of work, whether you are a shoemaker or you are a farmer or you are in whatever profession, your child should be part of it. You should teach your child. Your child is being exposed. You are helping your child know that the book space needs to be relevant with the practical space. Every single thing that is learned in the primary school and the secondary school has value for what you do, no matter the diversity of your work. Your children should learn. This also transfers to how your children see the gospel, how their minds are prepared to receive the gospel. Now, anyone who teaches the child how to think and how to meditate, and you are very much conscious about it, would have given the child a very precious period, because you need a conditioned mind that is settled, that can think, and that can analyze things to be able to receive the word. So the mind is the first thing, that you receive it, that you understand it. Now after that, the mind is what makes the heart give a command. The mind is actually like the hard drive of your computer that processes all the information that you put in through your keyboard. But there is the one thing that's so beautiful about that same keyboard. That keyboard houses the authority that gives a command. Say that save or delete or enter. That is the heart. The heart gives the command. And so the word of God, having been understood by the mind, settles in the heart. And whatever settles in the heart becomes the mainstream identity of the person, because it will flow in your veins. When the word of God flows in your veins, there is something that is the third, which is the soul's action. Whatever settles in you becomes a property used by the soul to move the body to action. If these three things are not complete in the process of the Word of God and how it relates with us, we cannot possibly be any one of the 30 or the 60 or the 100 yield of a rich soil. We probably will be either of the first three, either the pathway or the rocky ground or the thorny ground. My dear brothers and sisters, you and I were made to be the production factory of the Word. Let us enjoin ourselves to be part of this struggle to ensure that you become the mobile factory for the manufacturing of the consequences of God's Word. It should enter into us. It should be processed within us. And then finished products of goodness should be seen within us. This is the only way we are to witness. Do not get deceived by high-sounding words. Do not get deceived by those who call you for a miracle. That is already lying to you. Calling you to come and experience a miracle, that is already lying to you. You are that miracle. And let us see this in our little children. From now, we can make our children become what we want them to be. All the demons that you are afraid of, all the civil challenges that you are scared about, and all the misfortunes, my dear brothers and sisters, that threaten you and make you shrink, are the things we should gather to train our children about. Because every problem has a solution. Teach your children the existence of this problem and let them have a solution. I know it will be difficult because many of us ourselves do not even have solutions to problems that abound, because we were probably not trained by our parents. Do not let your child suffer your safe fate. There is a lot of lack of spiritual confidence in us. People wanting to reject responsibilities about holiness. People running away from call. Look, you can do this. Say, no, I'm not clean enough. You can do this. Say, no, I'm too sinful. That spiritual lack of confidence goes before every successful misfortune that happens. But let us hold on to the Word. The Word was meant for you and I. And we must eat it, as Isaiah and Ezekiel did. It must become part of us. Do not just listen to it because it is Sunday and we are meant to listen to it. We need to understand it. Let our hearts meditate on it. What you hear today, for those who do not have the opportunity of going for weekday masses, you should think about throughout today, throughout Monday, throughout Tuesday. If it is on Wednesday, you don't have the fullness of understanding, or on Thursday or Friday, there is the one thing that is bound to happen in your life. The miracle you are meant to pay for, the miracle someone should be calling you for, that will make you run up and down, will be very, very much in your very low location. We need to stop this and understand what truth is. Truth is not spoken by somebody's mouth. Truth is lived by somebody's life. You are that somebody. Don't transpose it to someone else. Don't see yourself finish, because God has not taken you for granted. Your God not see you finish. It's the reason why we are still here. May His grace and His power shield us and elevate us from that ground of fear onto the level of confidence. We make this prayer through Jesus Christ, our Lord.
Amen.